So yoga means you have full control of your mind. And so when you are here, if you are a true yogi, when you reach that level, you will be fully into it. Mind will not run off anywhere. So that's what he defines. So continuing on with the 21 verse, which is saying Tibra Samveganam Asan. Tibra means intent, Samveganam means very intense, and Asan means quick. If the practitioner, now he said there are two ways of doing it, practice and abhyas. The practice and vairag. There are two ways to do it. Practice of intellect. That means you are able to differentiate what is real and what is unreal. That is a practice. That's what you have to do. And vairag is the renunciation or detachment. So detachment does not mean that you walk away from the world. Detachment means mentally you're able to focus your mind on the thing that you want to focus. It doesn't go beyond your control. So he's saying that if you have a intense sort of an interest, very intense, then your meditation will come quickly. Asana means quickly. So if people who are, even though they may not have done before, but if they are determined and they are very, very, mentally we are prepared, so they will get results much faster than the people who are casually taking. If you are very casual about yoga, you will take longer. If you are more into it, more enthusiasm, then you get quicker. That's what he's trying to say. So it can define the category of the people. What kind of people you run into in the world. Some people are very intense. Some people are not as intense, medium. Some people are very casual. So depending on your level of interest in the yoga philosophy, you will be able to define how soon you will be able to get the true meditation. So that's what he's trying to emphasize here. The next one is verse number 22. Mirdu madhya adimatra vat tato api vishesh. Now he's saying even if you are a very intense, interest, but depending on your method that you have chosen or the speed you are going, it could be very slow, it could be medium, or it could be very fast. So depending on the method you are using, depending on your interest, how much you have got, there could be 9 different categories, three different speeds, three different, your interest. So there can be a lot of variations in in the practitioners or sadhak or seeker, depending on your interest entirely. So, and this path is only what you put in. It has nothing to do with the method. If you feel that you're not making much progress, you have to start going inside and seeing why mind is not absorbing, why mind is not sticking on. So he will tell you what to do. There are a lot of things that are coming up. The next one is Ishwar Pranidhanad Va. Ishwar means God. Pranidhanad means devotion, dedicated devotion. And Va means or if you have these yoga steps that he is talking about, if they're not working for you, then he's saying the Ishwar Pranidhanad, surrender to God. You've got an ultimate devotion to God. Now, when he's saying God here, he's not talking about the Krishna or Ram. He's talking about consciousness. Now, he will define the consciousness in the next verse. Consciousness, he's talking about, but even though you're talking about consciousness, you can still put your thoughts into Krishna or Ram or Shiva or whosoever you believe in. You can put that consciousness as the source, but you can put a sort of a face of Shiva or Kali or Vishnu or Krishna, whatever face you want to put in. Consciousness is behind the God. God is, consciousness is the abstract, which is the essence of all of us. And what we just like this body is here, God can have a body too, which is in depending on how you look at it. Vedanta says this is appearance. This is appearing you, just like God is appearing to you in Krishna form of Krishna. It's not really is this just appearance? Just like if you remove the appearance, then you will see the real God. Just like when you see a jewelry, behind the jewelry is a gold. So gold is a substance. If you take the gold out, jewelry won't be there. Jewelry cannot exist without gold, but gold can exist without jewelry. And jewelry, necklace, for example, is a name. And name, if you melt it, is gone. Is not there. It's only gold. So our essence is a consciousness. God essentially is consciousness. This form and name, they are just appearing to you. So if you want to believe in the normal world where duality is there, you say that God is sitting in the heaven and I'm here with this body, then you will see God. So even if you go Patanjali Yoga, so when you realize fully, you will see the consciousness, feel the consciousness. But when you come into the world, you will project yourself and see that I am this one and Krishna is there. So you will have the vision of Krishna if you go intensely. If you believe in Rama, you will see the Ram in your meditation. If you believe in Shiva, you will see Shiva in your meditation, because that's the way the consciousness will shape depending on how you're wishing, how your mind is working. Here, if you have emotions and you convert emotion into the devotion, then you will see God in the real form. So this is Bhakti Yoga. So that is yoga. So Bhakti Yoga means that in the word, we are attaching to the word, which is yoga means union. So you are attaching to the word. So you see the word around you. But the idea is to attach to God, then it will be through yoga. So you can see the yoga has two meanings. One is removing your attachment to the word and attaching it to the God. That is this bhakti yoga in the form of Krishna or Ram or Shiva or Shakti or Ganesh or whatever you would believe in. If you put in there, that's a devotion. So you can see Bhakti Marg and Patanjali Yoga, which is Raj Yoga. There's not much difference. In yoga, here we are trying to suppress the noise of the mind so that we can see clearly who we are. And in Bhakti Yoga, you're trying to remove the word and trying to bring the God in place of the word. So you are replacing in dunya from your mind, putting God in front of it. In Raj Yoga, all you're trying to do is to put the mind noise down so you can see yourself clearly. So there's not much difference. So depending on your temperament, whether you like to do go Bhakti Marg or you like to go Raj Marg, Raj Yoga, this will depend on your temperament and your the way you want to proceed. So he's giving you the option that Raj Yoga is not the only one, but from logic point of view, how to understand Vedanta is the only thing that can answer everything. If you go with the Bhakti Marg, if somebody says, "Tell me about God," you can't tell anything. You show me God or realize your God. You can't show anything. So Vedanta can answer. Bhakti Marg cannot say. Bhakti Marg has to have a faith. You have to have Shraddha. You have to have a belief that there's a God. In Vedanta, they say you don't have to have faith. You can they will prove logically what is God, and you will experience in your meditation. So Vedanta is good for logic, which appeals to the mind. But for practice purpose, you can go either Raj Yoga, which we are trying to do through Patanjali Yoga, or you can go Bhakti Marg through devotion, which is called Ishwar Pranidhana, which is devotion, complete devotion to God. And when you say complete devotion, it doesn't mean that you're sitting in front of God in temple and you're talking, listening to the people conversation. When you sit in temple, you have to focus your mind so much that you don't see anything else except God. That's what is required. So focus of mind is required anywhere, regardless whether you go Raj Yoga, or you go Bhakti Marg, or Karma Yoga, Karma Marg, whatever marg you choose, whatever path you choose. Focus has to be fully into it. That's the only way it will work. So then he says, now since he has talked about the Ishwar Pranidhanadva, Ishwar, he's talking about Ishwar. Ishwar means God. God means consciousness in Vedanta and in Patanjali Yoga. Now, here Patanjali is, they don't call consciousness. There's a word called Purusha. Purusha looks like a male. Purusha and Purusha is used for men. And so it could mean Purush, or it could mean Purusha means consciousness. So that they don't mean men. Consciousness could be, it could be, behind the female or male, behind the plant, animals. Consciousness can be anywhere. So they use the word Purusha for consciousness. So here, now he's trying to define the Ishwar, because he mentioned in verse number 23, you have to have a faith in God, total surrender. Now he's saying Klesh Karm, Vipak Aishwarya Aparamastram Purush Vishesh Ishwara. He's saying Ishwar is the special Purusha, who is Aparam minister, is is unaffected by Klesh, means afflictions, Karma means actions, and Vipak means fruits. The God is is a special Purusha who is not affected by Klesh. Klesh means any miseries or any problems, and he is not affected by actions. We are affected by actions. We do, and we get reactions, and we have got our samskars. We are bringing some samskar from previous life, and we are performing actions, and then they have a result. We are affected by them. We are making our own karmas and results, and we suffer accordingly. God has no sanskar, because God has nothing in the past. He doesn't have any future. God is present in the present moment. We are the one. We live in the. We bring the karma, sanskar from the past, and we create our sanskars for the future, and what we will be in the next life would depend on what we do now. But God has nothing like that. God has no baggage that we bring along when we are born. So that's what he's talking about. So the difference between Purusha that we are and God Purusha is the difference between the special Purusha who has no afflictions. Now, we as individual, we are Purusha. We can achieve that level. We can improve upon that our qualities, and we get to the level when God is there. But God is the ultimate. No one can exceed Him. And if you can imagine, if everyone can reach God, then there would be two God, or three God, or multiple gods. That can't happen. So God is only one. They are saying that it's just like if you draw a circle, within the circle is the space included. Beyond the circle is the open space. So that is infinity. Within the space circle is a small space. So we are a small space. And anything beyond a small space is infinity. And God is infinity. You can imagine, you can keep drawing the circle bigger, bigger. It can eventually make an infinity, but you can never reach infinity. So we can make our effort is to try to develop qualities like God and be a sattvic person, but we cannot reach that level in a lifetime. Some people have reached that level and they have the power. So when you go, God has their three qualities: omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. There are three qualities. Omniscient means all knowing, omnipotent means all powerful, and omniscient means all knowing. He knows everything because why? Because consciousness sitting inside us is watching everything what we are doing. So God is sitting inside us, watching our actions, and we are not aware of Him. We need to awaken that consciousness to be able to feel the presence of God, and that's what the realization is. So, uh, once next verse, we will read one more verse, and then we will stop. Tatra niratesham sarva bijam sarvagya bijam. Sarvagya means pervading, all omniscient, all knowing. Bija means seed. Nirat shayam. Nirati shayam means manifestation or the full development. Tatra means of the God has in God or in Ishwar, the omniscient seed, the seed of omniscient has a full manifestation. It is complete, 100%. We are 1%, 2%, 3%, little bit of omniscient. God is 100%. So you can imagine the power of God. And so here I think we will stop.